Okay, well, I don't have a camera on me because I got objects to show. I'm now going to work on the Net Pro Max right now because I've got some new toys. I mean, very important networking equipment or computer equipment. Necessary, absolutely, completely. Let's see, just switch mics. I should have just done that to start with, shouldn't I? Let's make sure I've got sound here. Okay. All right, now I'm on the wireless, and as soon as I'm sure I'm working, well, I get moving over there, and all right. So I've been talking about this that I ordered these in some of my recent videos. I got the 8 terabyte. I should hope. Seagate expansion drive. I have the 5 terabyte that I got 2 or 3 years ago, maybe 2, and it hasn't broke or anything. But you know, some people have bad. Well, it don't matter what you buy. Some things, you know, so many percent of them break or have broken. DOA. Anyway, I haven't opened any of this stuff yet. That I'm going to set off to the side because I'll do that later. First, I want to get this network switch, a 8-port NETGEAR network switch that I'm going to put on my router, connect to my router, and then I can take my, I'll show you. My now that's my D-Link router up here, and this is the one I use the Wi-Fi on to broadcast my Wi-Fi. Now the one underneath, can't really get, is a TP-Link, and I'm just using it as, you know, daisy chained to the D-Link on the wired, and I have the radio turned off on it because they interfere with each other, they fight. Then I have an old trend net down here that I'm doing the same thing with. And the TP-Link was all right. It just wasn't strong enough. I mean, it didn't reach far enough. In the living room, I'm on in one end of the house, and the garage is on the other, and the living room is kind of in the middle. Well, in the living room, you know, your connections would drop in and out quite often. And so, and I mean, I'd had it a couple of 3 years when I really noticed it. Well, that's when we really started using it a lot in there, you know. I got phones and everybody else got, well, we had phones, and we got a wireless DVD player, you know, that's also well, it has Kodi on it, you know, the like XBMC media player, the Kodi is what they call it now. It came with that on it. I already had a Raspberry Pi that I used for a couple of years with XBMC and Kodi on it, but it was only I think the Model B, 512 megabyte of RAM and 750 megahertz, so it got to where it couldn't keep up with the software after a couple of years of upgrades. So anyway, that's another thing. But what I'm going to do is install, oh, and I'll show the one other thing I got that's hiding under the tripod for the USB camera. Let's go to that. So I'll get this open here in a minute. But this, I thought I had that turned right side up. I never can tell up from down anymore. There we go. Warning, cable can be dangerous. To avoid danger of hurt, keep this cable away from babies and children. Okay, we'll do that. Now, here's what I was gonna look at that. So, you know, China cables, well, of course, everything's made in China, or somewhere besides America anymore. What does it say? Those are what they are is 10-foot USB cables, and I got them pretty cheap. The ones that are in there are not 10-foot. Those are my old cables. I've already hooked them up. They're on my cameras, and now I can, when you know, I need to very often move my cameras, and it's restricted with those like 2.5-foot, 3-foot cables. So one of them actually, it got, well, the camera, when it falls, sometimes that one up on, that I set up on my monitor, this one here, sometimes it falls. It's not on the monitor right now, but sometimes I'll bump it and it'll fall when I'm reaching over there to this stuff right here. And so I guess it got yanked one too many times, and the the wire, the little tiny wire inside the cable broke. I'm gonna turn the light on. It'll get all blurry. I mean, it'll get reflections from that plastic, but I turned it off so that you can see what see them, so what the heck I was showing. So, but I gotta have the light so I can see what I'm doing. So let's get this one open, and I'm not gonna try to. Well, the endoscope with a tripod there, you can't really get a big box up under it good, I'll just, I was gonna show, yeah, before I forget, I'll show right quick on the desktop before I open it up. I don't want to spend too much time on all this kind of stuff, but I'm sure everybody's interested. If they're interested at all, they're interested in where'd you get it, what'd you pay for it. So I'll just start with these, and I thought that was the best deal I saw. Of course, that stuff changes all the time, but it was two 10-foots for $7.99 on Amazon, and they're still, yeah, that's what I paid for them. They change sometime. And then here's the hard drive. It may have gone up by now. Yep, it went back up to 159. So I guess if you wanted one, you missed out, because I paid 129 on, I guess it was on Black Friday or the day after, or was it the day before? Anyway, last few days. And here's this one, $19.99. Let's see what it is. It's still $19.99. So if you're, I spent 3 or 4 days researching these things, and I came down to this one with overall, reviews versus failures. Well, when it went down, it was like $26 when I first saw it. Then when it went down, it competed with the TP-Link of same. But the TP-Link, well, it was hard. You know how they mix all the product reviews together. All I kept seeing was it's managed and it gives trouble and doesn't work right. Well, I finally realized the one I'm actually looking at says unmanaged, and I don't want a managed one. I don't need all that. I just want it to plug it into my router and get IP addresses from my router. That's all I want out of it. So this one, didn't mean to do that, but that was a good close-up of it. 82% 5 stars and 1% 1 star. And I always look at the pictures, because a lot of times if they've been break or burn up or something, if I see pictures of stuff that's burned up, I don't care how many stars it's got. I don't get it. So this one didn't have any burned up pictures or anything. And the 1%, I look at them always to see why did they not like it, and you go from there. And I'm not going to go into all that right now. But so anyway, this is what I'm going to install right now, and that's what this is mostly about, is installing it. And I think I'll close that too. It was on the desktop, wasn't I? Okay, so let's go back over here and get her opened up. Yeah, here we go. This will be in such a way that I can, this chair, my wheel, that's what I need. Well, the chair is great. I love the chair itself, but the wheels have been set on and rolled around on the carpet for so many years that the holes that they stick into are wobbled out, and it's just a plastic base. And they fight. They don't want to spin around. They fight the heck out of you. Now, where's this side where you? Did I already opened it in the wrong place? No. I guess I just can't quite. Here, I didn't want to cut the box. Let's just do it this way. I know. Well, I didn't want to rip it off if I didn't have to. If you can leave the plastic on there, I like doing that, because it protects the box. Because if you want to ever have to send anything back, you need the original box, and that didn't work. But let's just get rid of that flap. Yeah, I go from being delicate to screw it for easily. All right, so I think it opens differently. It opens on this end, so see if I could see this thing. That's my problem, is I can't see to tell. Yeah, the most. All right, nope, no more plastic. It wasn't going to be any good anymore anyway. Yeah, if I could see, I've got more light. I got the lights on and everything too. There we go. One of these is going to open. Should. I thought the top was going to open. There, the bottom opens. Oh, okay, it does that. So the plastic had to come off anyway. There we go. Now, so it's got a little, telling you how great it is thing, a little book. And it's just a switch, there's no setup, so I shouldn't have to, I guess I could look just to make sure I don't miss something. If all else, I don't want to do all else fails, read the instructions necessarily. Find the English section if I can. Here we go, somewhere. Oh, I see. It always throws me off. It's, you know, English, some other language, you know, instead of having, I like it better when it's one language on one page and one language on another page. When they do them one right after the other, it always throws me off. Let's see. There's probably a, I think this one does not have an uplink. Just pick a port. Well, sometimes it matters which port you pick to be your uplink. Like I saw that on one. Said if you don't put it in port 1 or 4 or whatever, then it will reduce your speed on all the other ones. So I didn't buy that one, but. They just show it going from the router to the one next to the power plug, which is just as good as any probably. But let's see. Has an on-off switch. Okay, yeah, you want to know? Good to know. Oh yeah, I got to find a place to plug it in on everything too. The TP-Link, I'm going to go ahead and plug it back into the switch for now, and then when I'm going to put DDWRT or WRT on it so that I can turn it into a wireless repeater, and then I'm just going in the garage to replace the link since out there so that I can run my server in the garage where I don't have to listen to it and have the heat. Right now I've got my Fedora 14 system running as my server, and because it's the only one I had left that had a server on it on my website, and after running 2 days and 2 nights, it's getting hot in here. I've got the windows open, it's still hot. I mean, it's cool enough outside, it's helping to have the windows open. I was looking at the temperature over there. 77 in here, but it feels hotter than that. It was 78, and the heater kept coming on, and I couldn't breathe when the heater came on. But it's not that warm in the other room. The heater's only set on 75. So it's 75 in the other room when the heater comes on. So, and where the in the living room. Okay, I don't see anything about. Wait a minute. 5-port. What? This better not be a 5-port. No, it's not. It says 5-port on there, and I was like, oh no. Oh, 8-port. There we go. Okay, there's nothing really to see there either. I didn't really pay attention to that. Let's see. There's an app for it. Oh, for registering. I think it's just to register the registration or something. Okay, so probably don't need that. So got a power. Oh, it's got a metal case. I I saw so many, and I really thought, you know, I do want to. They were saying, well, metal case is better. Everybody was saying that, you know, and some reviews were saying that, but the manufacturers, the sellers were saying that. Because metal, you know, dissipates heat, helps. It's a heat sink. The case is a heat sink, so it helps dissipate heat, and they do get pretty warm. Routers. I've got a switch, but I had a switch before I ever had a router, and I used it for years. It was a 200 megabit switch back when 100 megabit was the norm, and it was actually just switching from 10 to 100 megabit, and I didn't know anything about it. I just bought it because it was a good price, and it was a networking kit. It had the cables, the 200 megabit switch, 5-port switch, or 4 ports with an uplink, I think is what it is. Still works, but it can't keep up with the network traffic. It hasn't for many years. I don't know why. Maybe it doesn't work right anymore, but maybe it's something to do with the hardware. I really figured the hardware would very likely not ever fail on these things, but the Linksys, one of the ports completely failed, and then the Wi-Fi stopped working right and got down from, used to do a constant 54 megabits, that was its top speed, and now it will do 11 down and 2 up is the best it really gets anymore. Maybe 3, you know, it'll fluctuate out there in the garage. And I checked, and it was like that before I took it out there. This is a GS308. So it's port 1 through 8, no uplink or anything. Yeah, it actually feels substantial. I mean, it's got, there's more, there must be some heat sink inside too, because it's not light. And that metal case is not that heavy. So, it runs on 12 volt DC, 0.5 out max, which of course we got the power supply that came with it. You know, always use the power supply that comes with your stuff, and if it goes out, you better make sure you get not only the right voltage and amperage, but I mean, like if your device uses a 1/2 amp, don't put a 3 amp power supply on it, which you don't see a lot of those. Well, I'm not going to say you could do a 1 amp, but you could. You have to really learn about the device. And then the most important thing is the polarity of the plug. Just because it has the same plug doesn't mean, some of them are positive on the inside and negative on the outside, negative on the barrel or the sleeve, and some of them are the opposite. So that's something you always need to know if you need to replace one. Which that was what the power supply went out on my switch, and I used other things over the years. I ended up just pulling a 5 volt lead out of a computer and doing it that way. Okay, so I used its cable. I cut the wire off, and because I confirmed the power supply was completely dead, and or wall wart, if you like to call them that, and I just ran it down to computer inside of my server is what I did, because it was always on for a long time. Then it got to where it couldn't keep up, and I did check the amperage and all that before I did that too. But computer power supplies are very clean and regulated well, and probably way better than the one that went out. Now my nose is itching so bad, I'm gonna have to do something about it. Yeah, I thought I'd hurry up and do that while the light was on this window. It was actually probably too much earlier when I started setting up, because it's hard for me to see back here when the light's not on this window. So, sunlight, I mean. Okay, so make sure I'm still working.
Hard for me to see back.
Okay, now how am I going to do this? I guess I'll leave this sitting down, and yeah, this this D-link being shaped like a house means you can't set anything else on top of it without it just wanting to fall off. And the cables, they make them just another 6 inches to a foot shorter every year. So that is the absolute maximum height that I can get it from my power strip that's sitting in the floor. And you know, I guess I could mount one. There's no room to set it on the desk. I could maybe screw it to the back of the desk or something. Then I couldn't get to. I was thinking the other day maybe I should screw it to the back of the desk, but then I thought, well, then I can't. So if I unplug this thing, I'm going to lose my stream, but I will have a backup video. This is my router that's online right now. I can't seem to get things to. There we go. All the cables are hung up on stuff. I really hate to pull on them like that, but I don't know what else I'm going to do. Okay, so TP-Link is going to my preview. I've got some kind of, oh, that's the string holding the, I was like, what is that thing? That string, I saw it. That's the string holding my trend net from falling down. You don't ever want to let those things fall back in the back of the abyss back there. Then you've got to crawl down in that dust to get them out. Okay, so what I think I'll do is I'll lose my preview, but try to do it quick enough, quick as I can or whatever. Let's see, I'm going to use port 1 as my uplink port. Let's see. Trying to get, maybe I could use my preview to see it. Not sure. Let me just get it over where I can see it. That's 8. Okay. Yeah, okay, down by the green light. Oh, that's the power switch, I guess. It's very tiny. No, that's just an LED. Where's the power switch? It said it had a power switch. It doesn't have a power switch. It's got a little wall mounting thing on it. I guess I could run my power first before I start unplugging things, and then it'll work as soon as I plug it in. So I think I'll plug it in here, and I use a twisty to tie my cables to something so that I won't. You drop them in a heartbeat, so I'll get me a twisty. That one ought to do. I could switch and let you see what I'm doing, but yeah, everybody knows how to twist, find and hook up a twisty, so just take more time out of the getting it done. Yeah, I'm gonna find something to tie this to so that I won't drop it. I mean, lose it. Okay. Now, this might set on top of the, I'm thinking it may set on top of the D-Link, okay. It actually, the way these cables are, I may have to turn it around backwards. I really may. I don't know if they'll, yeah, they won't reach if I don't, because all my, they've been in there long enough that they're tangled up with each other, so. Now let me get my power plugged in. I won't try to show that because I've got that camera in a good spot up there. I don't know. Oh yeah, I was going to leave the TP-Link plugged in, so. Yeah, flashlight so I can see down there. Well, you know what? I think I'm going to plug it into the... Let's see. I'm going to plug it into... Oh, that'll make it go off. Can't do that. I was going to plug it into one of my power strips up here where my amplifier is plugged in, but that I turn that off every night, so that won't work. I think I'm hurting for a power spot. unplug something in order to plug that in. I'll have to find a new place for my electronic bug repeller, I guess. Guess I'll just put it up here on the table until I figure all that out. Ah, there's a spot. Well, right now while I'm doing it, might as well plug it in. It goes one way though. I didn't remember that I was going to get into all this. I have two different ones. One was plugged into the other one, but with where I decided to put it just now, you couldn't do that. But that's all right. It's in a spot where it can broadcast good. It's not going to get. They make sounds that the bugs and stuff don't like, or bugs. One of them, the little bitty one, you didn't see it, but the little bitty one is for mice and stuff, and then the other one's for. I actually lost my connection on my, or it's just reloading on my preview. I haven't done any cable changes yet. Let's see if it's. I guess I should. I know I'm going to end up losing it, so. I can check my stream on my computer I'm streaming from though. So I'll get over here on it. Whoops. Everything's going wonky. I hope I didn't mess things up already. Yeah, I'm on the internet, so should be okay. I see a signal in my preview, but that doesn't mean it's getting to the internet though, is the thing. So I want to make sure while I'm at it. It's hot again. It's back up to 78.3. I don't know why the laptop lost its, it didn't lose its connection. Oh, I reloaded, but I didn't hit unmute. Yeah, it's working. Reloaded, but I didn't hit unmute. There we go. Yeah. Okay, so that ought to be good. All right, now I hadn't lost anything. I saw that the preview was sitting there trying to load, you know, just continuously, and I thought, well, maybe I've lost my internet connection. Okay, so. Yeah, it's got a green light. Well, you know, it's okay that the green light's going the other way, then I won't have to look at it, right? Now. Yeah, I'll put number 1 as the, usually if it does matter on which one you uplink to, it's usually number 1. Okay, yeah, that one needs to go. Now these routers often have, let's go ahead and tie this. Just don't have enough cable links to work with. Well, I guess I can't do it right now. I wanted to twist that onto something so it can't fall. See if I can do it with one hand here. See, that one is so tight there that it's, I don't like that. It's really bad on the cable. That's as long as it's got. So I won't tie it to that. I'll tie it to that yellow one, I guess. I think the yellow one is the, I've got more linked out of this one than there is on the D-Link. I mean, that's just rotten to make them that short as that D-Link is. Okay, now, the, I can't keep on forgetting which one, yeah, the one by the green light, okay. So now what I want is, maybe that's what I need to do, the antenna's unscrewed now. Maybe I need to unscrew them just to get them out of my way. What I need to do here is find the, yeah, that one's got a different little flat cable that came with it, I believe, so. Oh, well, that's, yeah. Okay, the one coming from the, let's see if that's in the D-Link. Yeah. So the one coming from the D-Link to here is the one I want to go. Yeah, don't drop that off in the abyss, like I said. Okay, now it's uplinked. So yeah, my preview stopped over there on that, of course, but hopefully not forever. Now, I have most of them labeled. I don't want to unplug it, I just want to, okay. Mom's room, yeah, that'll be the one to go right next. Okay. Now it will be on a gigabit router and a gigabit. Well, that's a gigabit too, though. Because she's, well, her machine has a gigabit built in. Her ASRock motherboard has a built-in gigabit, but it's not working. It wasn't working on Fedora 27. Well, I think it may be the 8-core processor I put in there that caused it. But I won't go into that right now. But let's see. Can't read that tag. Red black BIOS start. Okay, well that's my server. I hate to look down there and see what's being yanked on when I do that. But yeah, I was an installer in 2000 in telcos, and I certainly wasn't allowed to do things the way I'm doing this. Living room, okay. Well, now the living room, well, it already did. But the living, nothing in the living room has gigabit capabilities, but sending, you know, if that, yeah, and this Cat 5 going, yeah, I have a wall. I have one, Mom's room, and the one going to the living room is ran in the attic and come down this wall and then to a wall plug. So they're all Cat 5. They've only got like 3 Cat 5e or maybe 1 Cat 6 cable, 1 or 2. Now this one, okay, that's the one going to the, there we go, okay. That's the one going to the TP-Link. All right, now, I have 3 more ports. I didn't think I was going to have that many ports left. I got 3 more. So I'm going to get me a cable out of this box that the camera's sitting on. And there we go. That's going to mean everything needs to be rebooted, I'm sure. TP-Link anyway. Oh, I can get to that button right there. Okay. Now, this one, I'll get another cable to go. Oh, I probably should have used that cable. Let's see. Because oh wait. Yeah, that should be that little flat one. Yeah, that should be at least a Cat 5e. So I think that's the one I want on there. It's a weird cable, but it's what came with it. 30 volt. I don't see anything that says, this may be, I think I'm getting vague memories of it. I had to go look it up. E21 2689. I think I had to go look it up to see if it was, I think it's a Cat 5e or a Cat 1 or the other. It's not just a Cat 5. Because it came with either the D-Link or the TP-Link. But my other cables, well, I can see them. It's a clear box that I have my, if I have a Cat 5e or anything, I'll put that on there. The ones I have, most of them are going to be just Cat 5s. Two of them I see, I'm pretty sure. There's a, I don't see the, well, I guess I'll have to go ahead and move things. Get in that box. Yeah, I don't have another one that I can get to. Let me look before I open that, because I could have stuck one in one of these other boxes. Never know what I might do whenever I'm just don't want fool with digging everything out, moving things around. Yeah, there's not one. But I do have some right here. I just need to patch from the new switch to the, let's see if everything still looks like it's working. I just need to patch from the new switch to the, oh, okay, I was going to say, oh, I don't see my hand. But I do. Oh, and my preview's working again over there too. I got two previews going. Okay, so I'll close the one on this computer so I won't be overworking it. But, okay, so this one, I just don't want that falling behind there. But let's make sure I haven't yanked anything loose in the D-Link. And I don't know, I might end up wanting to reroute some of this, but I'm not going to worry about that now. Restacking it's one thing I may have to do. I may set this underneath the, actually I may have to set this back underneath the, yeah, because this one doesn't have a long enough cable. It's actually, I'd like to keep it on the bottom because it has the shortest cable of all. But yeah, I'm going to move this now because I have to. Have to do something here. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. I knew I had tried the, I checked out what I could do and what I couldn't do, you know. But see, here's my cables right here that I was talking about. So let's get them. Just leave it sitting there and see if, oh, okay, there's more in there than I thought. So that one is too little. I got one that's really close and one that's not as close, but yeah, Cat 5. Oh, that's Cat 5e, just like I was hoping. That's Cat 5, I know. This one I'm pretty sure, I don't know if you can read it. I think it, oh yeah, you can, barely. It's dark with black letters on it. I'm just wondering what I got now. Let's look at the other one first. Oh yeah, there's, oh, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 altogether. I didn't know I had so many. Some of them are pretty short. I'd like to use the shortest ones. I used to just go by the shortest ones. Yeah, that's Cat 5. By the shortest, you know, by the length, because I didn't have any Gigabit adapters on anything, even though I had that TP-Link Gigabit router. But then, once I got two machines with Gigabit Ethernet adapters, then it's like, wait a minute, I need to reroute everything. And my internet's 200 megabits now, so it's really important. That's one of the reasons I bought this switch. Well, the main reason is because I need to move the TP-Link outside to be my in the garage to be my wireless repeater. Yes, there's dust. You can go around and around and around, and you won't see what part of the what you're looking for. Doggone it. Maybe this one's the one that's not marked with the speed. There it is, Cat 5. So, that one's Cat 5, that one's Cat 5. This one I know is, because I remember when I bought them. This will be the one that's different. I bought all these. Those white colored ones I didn't buy. I collected them from over the years from different ways of usually coming with devices or something. I don't know. Some of them I don't know where in the world I got them. Cat 5, yeah. Okay, now. This is the only one I couldn't see, and I think the light's a little brighter on this one, so maybe I can kind of think it's, I'm pretty sure it's Cat 5, but. I can finally see some lettering there. And I have a few more I know that are need new ends put on them. They've gotten bad. I've got one that's 25 foot that the clip, you know, the clips get broke off. Usually that's the thing, not that the wires get broke inside of them. Like, you know, power wire cables do that a lot. I guess they get more moving around, you know. Come on. I know it's not what I have to do right now. I do this. Come on. There's lots and lots of letters, but they're very hard to read. Well, I should have already gave up a long time ago, huh? Alright, so I don't know what that one is. I'm probably Cat 5 though, because it's fairly old, I think. So I probably don't have any more Cat 5Es or Cat 6. Cat 5e will do gigabit easy. Actually, it'll do more than gigabit. Ever since I had that job especially, I've always liked cables because I used to do sound, and that's when I started. I used to sell audio video gear, and I sold cables and stuff. But anyway, so I've just kind of like them. They're very complicated. You wouldn't think that they are, but it's actually very complicated and a lot to getting the right cable for the right job. A lot more than you would think. And no matter if it's audio, video, networking, wrong thing will completely screw you up. So, I think I'm going to put this one at the port 8 just so that I know that that's my uplink to the next device, which is going to be this. Now this one has a WAN port. Oh, and it's marked, and it's separate, and it's marked blue. So let's get this cable out of the way first, though, before I plug it up. I think that's the way I'll do it. Like that, yeah. Now it's not plugged into anything right now, but I will have to. I'm doing this because I'm going to have to plug into it to put DDWRT on it. Well, now it is plugged in. That's all I need is contact with it. So I really don't like other electronics right between the antennas. I'm afraid it'll interfere. See the way that's sitting there right now? But let me put this back out of the way so that I can, everything seems to be really out of whack. There we go. But actually, like I said, I can't move this. I can't stack this up on the very top. That's what I really want. This could set. I've already got that TP-Link standing on its end off to the side. I want that to where I can get it out of there. So that doesn't have any more. It's got that much room to move it around, and that's it. That antenna has become unscrewed from being moved around so much. I think that one may have too. It's good that they come off of there, though. Yeah, I thought with all those 3 antennas, it had to be the best one, you know. But it actually was not the most powerful distance-wise router I had was that old Linksys WGO. I don't remember the letters of them. Everybody that likes them knows their letters, but I don't. Well, I mean, I like it, but I did until it started getting old and quit working. Okay, so still like it. I wish it still worked like it should. It was really a good router for many years. I think I'm going to try putting this underneath here because it won't raise it up too much, I don't think. Yeah, it does. So let's try something else. I really don't want it sitting on top of there is the thing. I think I'm going to stand it up on its end just like this other one. See, I tied this one with a string. This cheap trend net so that I wouldn't lose it. I dropped it back in there, and I didn't feel good for, I think it was back down in there a month, just laying there. I think I kind of moved it a little bit, but it was hanging, kind of laying all crazy for about a month because I didn't feel good enough to get under there to get it out. This is string that we used to tie our cables. By the regulations, you had to have you had to go to school and learn the knots and learn all this wire wrapping stuff and all this stuff. Had to buy $500 worth of tools. And it was a good job, except for it only lasted about a year. And then the telco kind of fell apart for a while, telco business. That came back, I guess, since then, but okay, so trying to figure out which way is the way to do it. I'd really rather it be. I don't like the way I have them at all. I don't have cable. I said that 100 times. I don't have enough cable links to move them the way I would like to. There we go. Now, yeah, that one, well, if you wanted to restart it, you'd have to unplug it and plug it back in, so I better put the plug up high. There we go. Yeah. This one has a button that I can get to the way it's sitting. Now, I'm going to wrap this. Oh, I see. My string doesn't have a... It's tied around it, and then I just went around and around. Anyway, that string, I was saying, you had to do these special knots, and I learned them on all that stuff. And trying to get this, get it somewhere where it will really hold it good, where they won't slide out too easy. But in the telcos, we call them, the telephone company central offices, all the cables are on the racks and everything have to be done just so. Okay. Now if I can get this, oh, I guess if I can move my, if I move my, I think I'm moving my camera a lot. Didn't know it. Yep, sure did. Okay, this is getting crazy, but hey, at least if I can get this to stay where I'm trying to put it, it will hold it pretty good. It did before with just this other one. This is not a special knot. This is how you tie your shoes. But the thing I like about a simple bow knot is you can take it loose real easy when you need to. Okay. I don't know where to put that part. Now. Okay, I think that ought to hold it. Ah, the days of perfect video. Okay, now, let's do that one more time from the other side, if I can. I want to see if it'll, well, let's point it at myself. That's the main thing. No, all that matters is I'm just trying to make sure the legs on the tripod will reach my monitor. That box has to be in the right place. And it's not. There we go. Yeah, it's all pretty precarious. It's not that bad actually about being precarious. I mean, you just have to, if you get it all in the right place. I can't get that TP link up. Let's see. I could set, yeah, it's too wide to set in between those antennas. So I'm going to leave it up there for now. It's nothing plugged into it, it's just plugged in. But I will be able to get to it. Well, I may have to run a cable from, what I may have to do is run a cable from, what I might do, in order to connect to it, I want to make sure I connect to it, but I don't want to have it set up so that I could accidentally flash the wrong router when I flash that router. So, talk about the TP link. Where is it? There it is. When I flash it, see, it's not plugged into anything but the uplink, but there's no wired stuff into it because I had enough on my new switch. So down here. So, and I still have one more port somewhere. Oh, the way it ended up, it's on the bottom. Well, can I get to it? Barely. Can't even feel where it's at. I can always pick it up if I have to. But yeah, it's down further, I guess. Yeah. Okay, just kind of make sure everything still seems to be plugged in. It's all that wrangling. Yeah. And then the D-Link, one I'm always talking about and rebooting all the time to make sure my videos work good. Yeah, see, I can't even get any strain relief on that because, see, well, that's kind of a strain relief, I guess, but I mean, it's being pulled down to here where I got it tied on with a twisty. I got it tied around one of the antennas, I think. Do I really? That's not really a good idea. I think it might be tied around the hinge for the antenna. I think it was the only place I could do it. But I didn't see any degradation. I can watch my signal strength on the phones, and I did check all that out whenever I was setting things up. So oh yeah, I don't have to put. I was fixing to start putting things back, like where they belong, but I don't have to do all that right now. Okay, so there we go. I've got it. I do have to put things back in the right place in my pockets or I'll go nuts. Everything shifts around, you know, when you're doing stuff like that. Okay, so now let's get on the computer and see what things can be seen, you know, as far as on the network and all that, the way I have it. Make sure these antennas are in there good. Boy, that one in the middle is really loose. It's tight. But there's a nut, like a backup nut that holds it in the device. That one is too. Those things, they got a lot of torque on that. Oh, show you what I'm talking about. Okay, now see this nut right here? Look at that. That's because there's a backup nut to tighten it in, you know, inside the case. If you don't watch out, that come loose. I mean, it's really loose. That one's okay. But see, two of them were loose on they screw off. That one's loose. So they've been turning them up and down to get them out of the way when I'm back there, you know. Caused that, I'm sure. But they should have been, the backup nuts should have been tighter than that. They shouldn't have came loose so easy, that's for sure. Okay, I'm going to try to guess at where that would be. Great. Once you move it around, then it gets to where it doesn't want to stay where you put it. Okay, so I was fiddling with the paperwork under, I was putting it under the, I thought, well, what if I wanted to show that? And I don't know that I do want to show it, but get that back to normal. The paperwork for the, that's what I just installed. Let's see if I can figure out upside. It's really tricky. That being on a long cable, it's next to impossible to, that's completely upside down for me, but it's beginning to come right side up. I think it got twisted during all this. That's kind of the base. Well, that's not the, that's the switch book, and I was going to show the model number out of here, but I don't know where it is. I thought it was on there, but it wasn't. And that was that little thing that was telling you to go to get their app, but then I don't think the app's good for anything but just registering after I kind of scanned over it. What it said. Well, anyway, the model's over there on the website. Yeah, that model number's not. That just says 200 and 300 series guidebook or whatever. Start. Quick start. So, let me switch. Now I've got, let me switch mics and I'll get on the desktop. And I'll take my glasses off. And let's see, switch mics, but I'm going to have to deal with Manove. Okay, now, I was looking at my preview on the laptop. It looks like it's basically a minute behind or something. I guess if there any reason the stream gets somewhat interrupted, it...
Well, that's kind of a struggle. But, I mean, it's being pulled down to here where I got it tied on.
I wonder if it's playing at the wrong spot in the video. I'm going to reload that. Something seems weird. That looks like it's way, way behind. I don't think it would have ever cached that far behind. Anyway, I do want to know whether or not I'm online is the main thing. Yeah, now it's showing what I'm doing. I think something happened, like it wasn't playing right or something. Yeah, now. Oh, and I'm sitting here just showing my preview screen. And what was I going to get on here to do? Get on the web browser and see what machines show up and stuff. See, now what'll be really cool about having this switch is something I've wanted for years, because, well, I wanted a new one. You know, I said I had one already, but it didn't work anymore. I just been using these, and these routers. I had one. My first I bought that switch. I can't remember the brand of it, and then I got a NETGEAR router, just wired. It was before Wi-Fi was a thing, and you could turn it off, and it wouldn't. The DHCP server that gives out the IP addresses, you could turn it off, and so it could be a switch or a router, but it can't keep up with, you know, network. It's 100 gigabit. 100 megabit, but it can't keep up with You can't keep up either. Can't say the right words. Trying to think of what I'm going to type and what I'm trying to say all at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and log into this D-Link here. Now I should have, I won't see any more devices because I don't have more devices running. I just thought of that, but it does that. It'll say click to repair, and yeah, before you even have, most of the time before I notice it, it says it's repaired. Let's see if I don't think we're going to see any more. Let's see. No, that would be it's running. The BioStar's running. Now, what I'm wondering is did that knock my website offline? Let's see. Let's see if we can go to the machine. 117. Now it may still have the same IP. Yeah, it does. Oh wait, it's not coming in. May still have, well, sure shouldn't be that slow, I wouldn't think, but let's hit reload. I might have to, oh yeah, that's because it was cache. It was, oh no, wait, now it's working. Yeah, I think it's not working very good. It's supposed to be a gigabit switch. It shouldn't be slow like that. I may have to, let's see. Yeah, I plugged all that stuff in. I'm going to restart the switch, and maybe it needs to be refreshed. Oh, the IP address. Well, I don't know if it's done. I can't see the light on it. Shouldn't take too long. But yeah, I did the exact opposite really of what you should do to get up. You know, you should plug everything in, then turn it on, then it'll start getting, and I may have to restart the router in order for it to see everything properly. Actually, it seems that I just broke the connection that it had. It should really automatically, I think, I don't remember for sure. I know a lot of them said, you know, you could basically hot plug, you know, and you would get your, as soon as you plug it in, you get your IP address. Oh yeah, I don't want to restart the router if I don't have to. It'll break my stream. That made it worse instead of better, I think. Let's see what else is available here. Okay, I reload that page, the router itself. It could be that it's showing. See, that was, if I had that set. Now I don't have to reserve that IP address, because if I had that set to reserve it, then it would be looking for the TP-Link router is what it'd be looking for instead of the bio. See, it shows BioStar because on the TP-Link router I have it forwarded to the red-black BioStar. That's why that came up. It took me the longest time to figure that out. It was really confusing me. I was like, how can the BioStar? I saw it, and that's not the way any other router I've ever had worked. I knew it's the only one. Well, actually, my mom's is a BioStar too, but this I know for sure because I've been using it recently. It does go to the red-black BioStar. This is the one that I got my website. That's what I'm using for my website right now because I had all that trouble with the gateway out in the garage and the restarting that just broke it. Let's make sure I plug it back in right and didn't half plug it in or something. I wonder why. All I did was just wiggle on that, and you know, I didn't do any. As far as I know, I didn't touch anything to do with my. Stream didn't show to be down. I guess it straightened itself out before it called. Oh, now it's doing something. It might have just taken a really long time to reboot, but it's not acting right. So Let's see if my website's probably down. Let's go. There's Uptime Robot right there. I hadn't even thought about that. But it was plugged into the TP link, so of course it went down when I... Okay, Bishop.biz says it's okay, and it didn't show to go down. It just didn't get checked while it was... Oh, it was down. Well, how can it say it was down? Oh, it was down for 0 minutes, so it didn't... I guess it didn't count it. See, it says it's okay for 19 hours. Everything else shows to be okay. So, I don't get why I'm not... Maybe it does have a different IP and it's just not showing up. The D-Link's not very good at refreshing the client, of its clients. That doesn't really help. I don't think there's a button on there to do that either. Some routers will have something you can click on to refresh your client list. But my website is down, up. This one's really, let's check that's Uptime Robot. Let's check. So it's still connected to the internet and everything. That's the number one thing I want to be working right now, And let's see. I wonder what's... I'm surprised. It must have fixed itself because while I was doing all that, yeah, I did. I lost my connection on the laptop that I'm monitoring with. Now let's go ahead and run the checks manually. Okay. Yep. It's up. So far, so good anyway. That one's taking a while. That one says it's not up. Now that's something I can't figure out. I think that's got to do with GoDaddy. I actually forgot. They were working, but sometimes Dawn songs will be down. And see, that's all on the same machine. So that, if either one or both of these are up, then the rest of them should be up because they're on the same machine. So it's probably that all those things I've seen showed in my other videos where GoDaddy it goes to this URL shortener page when you try to go there. Let's see if I go there, what if it does that. No, it shows to be working. Now that evidently, reloading it a couple of times and it's not going away, so evidently it is up, and I'm getting bad readings, bad reports on that one. Maybe that one's not as... I thought that was the one that was the most accurate. Oh, it's probably going through the local network. Yeah, I always forget that. These are what you need to trust, is whether or not you're on the internet or not. But I think it's probably, if I get another browser, it'll probably come up with that GoDaddy URL shortener error saying everything's working on our side, but there's something wrong with the website. Well, it's not the website, I think. The only thing I can see to do is try I don't have them turned on. I didn't want them. The URL shortener I already have. It's basically like another forward, and so that would put 2 forwards in there, just slowing things down even more. I've already got 1 forward going from the domain name to the bishopco.com, where all my sites are on one machine, one server. So anyway, it is up. So let's go back in here. The only way you can kind of get just to maybe refresh all the clients that I've ever found in this D-Link is to reboot it. And of course, if I do that during the middle of my stream, I'll break my stream. So I'll do it. I may do it here in a minute. I will as soon as I get done here. But let's see what we got showing. No Wi-Fi. That's the one I'm streaming from. TrendNet router. Okay, now it's showing up. See, it never showed up before because it was on the day. It was the D-Link, TP-Link, and then the TrendNet. Okay, and so the firewalls in all the routers would not allow you to go. It thinks your connection's coming from the WAN, from the wide area network, the internet, and so it wouldn't allow you to go to it. So now I can connect to them. I can transfer files. I can do remote desktop, whatever I need to do to any machine. Well, of course, anything on the TrendNet I have to forward to those ports. But anything else, if I boot up any of these other machines, that's why I'm not seeing any. That's why I'm looking through it and see what is showing. And the phones are showing. I'm streaming on them. That's where I'm getting my video. There's an Intel that's unknown. What is that? Oh, that's probably a laptop. Android. The ones that don't have a name, like phone 1, 2, 3, those are mine. And then that's Android. And there's Android tablets. That's probably a tablet. And there's an Amazon Android tablet. And then there's Bishop Co. IBM. That's because it's reserved. See, it's not. It's in the garage. No hard drive in it, and just sitting out there. So it's not actually that. That's the other thing this router is not good at. All my other routers, if the machine wasn't up and running, then it didn't show up in the clients list. That says connected clients. So it has really an abysmal reporting system in it. And this one of the reasons I bought it, though, I like it. It works really well. And one of the reasons I bought it, though, is because you can put DDWRT or OpenArt. I think there's a, well, I know there's a DDWRT image for it because a bin file, because I downloaded that. But of course, I'd have to be in a situation where I'm not depending on it to do that. And I kind of like to wait till the warranty's out on stuff before I do that too. But I don't know. They're not. I looked the other day and they don't have any. They haven't given me an update since I bought it, so I may go ahead and do that because at least then I can manually update them, the firmware, for more security. Oh, that's the 10-inch tablet. That one there might be a phone, and then that's the printer. That is the NetPro Max. It's got an Asus motherboard, so it shows up as to this thing, and it does have a reserved IP. It shows up. I went blind. It shows up as a Zeus Tech and its automatic recognition there. Compal, what is a Compal? Acer, that laptop. It's got a Compal motherboard. Never Compal information. Kunshan. That's what the motherboard gives out. Or the see, oddly enough, you would think it would just give out the manufacturer of the Ethernet chip when they're on board like that. But see, the BioStar doesn't make Ethernet chips. What you'll see is Intel, mostly RTL, Realtek, RTL so-and-so's. And for wireless, you'll see Intel's, Broadcom's, and a few others. But I'm pretty sure BioStar doesn't even make they don't make their own Ethernet. This is onboard Ethernet, 100 megabits is what that is. But so yeah, not altogether all that helpful. And I think when I reboot, this probably will change. It's not reserved, so it should change to whatever's on that port, which may still be. It might still be my machine though, but it may be. Well, it won't change to what it shows probably. It said unknown, and I always thought it's because on other routers, the Red Black BioStar name, local host name I gave it was too long for other routers to work with. They wouldn't show long ones. I had one that would, and others that the rest of them wouldn't. And so I started making them shorter. And those all have the same because the only reason, because that's what was going to be my server, that Bishop Co. You can't do that. They'll fight with each other, but they're not going to be all on at the same time. You really don't have to. I named it that for my own convenience, so I'd know which one was my server right quick when I glanced up at it, but I might be better off changing it to like IBM, Asus, or NetPro. I'd say NetPro Mac for that one, and IBM. See, it shows IBM because that's an IBM motherboard and an IBM machine. Asus motherboard and what they call branded NetPro Max. That's kind of a custom jobby that was a security computer. I think some company put them together from like basically kit parts, because I recognize of course the Zeus motherboard is something that you generally buy to put. Well, actually they make computers now, laptops and everything else, but back years ago when this NetPro Max was made, I don't think there was any Asus motherboard, not motherboards. There weren't any Asus laptops. I don't think there might have been. I don't know. There might have been some Asus desktops. I wasn't aware of some of those other brands too well, back then. I knew about the motherboards, but mostly I knew about the IBM and Compaq and Hewlett Packard and all that stuff. And then when I started getting into building computers and poring over the Tiger Direct catalogs online, then I started learning more and more about different manufacturers. But anyway, it's kind of weird that that my that was kind of working, but not really. Okay, now now it came right in. Okay, so maybe it was just jacked up. Of course, well, I unplugged it and plugged it back in. No, look at that. Works, don't works. What's going on with that? Sometimes you get some strange things. I sure hope. Oh, that's a switch. And I got three routers plugged. I've got three routers plugged into it that are all sending out. See, there's no uplink port on it. That did not dawn on me when I was buying. So there was, I think that TP-Link had a dedicated uplink port. Dang it. See, with it being a switch, and any port can be your uplink port. Well, then, so there's three DHCP servers fighting to send IP addresses out to this switch because I've got three routers plugged into it. So I can't do all that daisy chaining to all the other routers. That's why I have extra ports, because I hadn't originally, at first I had not planned to plug any routers into it. Then I thought, well, I can plug in, I had it planned out to where I was going to have one port left, I think, or maybe two. I think I was going to be able to plug in one router and then have one port left. But now I realize, and then I completely, all that studying and looking, I don't know why did it, until I get the thing here. I can't plug routers that are serving up IP addresses into it. Now wait, if I'm going to their uplink, yeah, that won't hurt anything. Never mind, because they have uplink ports. They have WAN ports. So if I'm going to the WAN port, that's good. That's fine. There's no problem. Okay. For a minute I was thinking, let me look on the TP-Link and make sure it has it's got to. Routers pretty much always do. Let me look at it. It's the port letters and all that are too small to, well, let's go ahead and get on the camera and I'll flip around there anyway. Better than you looking at what? Nothing. Oh, we'll switch to the wireless. Well, while I'm checking that. I saw something on my, I was like, what is that? Video that's muted? Why is it muted? Video's working. I don't know what that is that I have there. Well, it's muted. Oh, well, there's no audio coming from it, but I guess I muted it to make sure that I didn't get double audio, like the audio off the camera itself. That's probably why I did that. But it can't, because that's just a video feed. Maybe I thought it was making noise or something and did that. It wouldn't be. Okay. It's confusing, that's for sure. Let's see what happens when I hit the... Okay, I just want to make sure when I hit my quick change. I don't remember hitting a button on the keyboard, but I somehow muted the sound, it seems.
I don't remember.
And I don't know for how long. It must have been when I jumped down in the chair, because I saw that when I jumped down in the chair, somehow it jumped from the web browser to over here to OBS Studio, and I don't know what happened. Something crazy happened. I must have bumped the keyboard some weird way or something, but it moved it over to this desktop one, and simultaneously muted the audio, I guess. So sorry. But now, yeah, see, now my website won't load again. So that's weird. And I didn't even mean to turn the TP link off. I did it, but I was grabbing it to flip it where I could see the ports. And let's get off this wire. I'm not going to be up again for a minute, at least. Get off of this one because at least I can get away from the mic. And I don't know. I could have forgot to unmute it the whole time when I tried to get onto the wireless mic. I don't know what I did, but now we're back on. Now we're back on the SM58. Okay. Let's see, desktop. Yeah. Okay. So what I was going to do is I logged into the router again. That is not changing. Sometimes when you haven't rebooted your router, when you've changed cables and stuff, you get some odd behavior. Once in a while you do get something working and not working. What I'm not sure about is if I'm just getting the cache out of the... Now see, it comes right in, so it could be the... Then when I reload it once or twice, sometimes to get it to go beyond the cache and actually reload the page, you got to keep on reloading. That's why I keep doing that. Now it seems to be fine. Let's try it in another browser. Well, let's don't try that. Let's try the FTP application. See if I can get in there. The FileZilla. I'll try it. But I know it's running. I can see the lights are on, and somebody's bound to be home. You know, there's something I would like to do if I can ever get around to it. Is I have two things. I have a TRS-80, Radio Shack TRS-80, and I've got books, I've got software, I've got everything. A fellow gave it to me. He mailed it to me from California. Real nice guy. And anyway, it works. It runs good. And I'm, I didn't have anything. I never got a computer until the first time I used friends' computers was in '92, I think. And I learned a little bit about Windows 3.1 and stuff. And I did get on the internet and stuff, but there wasn't anything interesting to me then. And the only thing I found interesting was making databases, not internet databases, but how would you say it? Spreadsheets. Spreadsheets, what it was. I made a phone number database in a spreadsheet of everybody I knew, and I had like 100-something at the time. I had like 100-something names in there, friends, family, or acquaintances. I just put everybody I had a number for. And so let's log in here. So anyway, then in '98 is when I got on the internet and started really getting into computers. So of course that was a Packard Bell 486 that we had then. Just bought it. Oddly enough, I guess it was kind of old then, but it came with lots of software. And I didn't know. I didn't even pick it out or do anything. I didn't know anything really. So let's see if we can, connects right up. So whatever's going on with the website not loading, when I reloaded it X up, it's not anything to do with the connection. Yeah, connects right up. So I'm just going to get out of there. So, yeah, I'm going to try a different browser. Let's just close this one instead of opening more than one. Kind of want to get to the bottom of, well, I don't know that I'm going to get to the bottom of it, but let's try Chromium since it's better. I keep calling it Chrome, but it's Chromium. It's the real deal. It's what Chrome is built on. I still don't like the way it works. I like Firefox better, but it's good. Always good to have more than one browser. I have the Firefox developer version, and it doesn't have blockers and stuff, ad blockers and stuff in it, and it's got tools in it too for website developing. It's what it's for. Anyway, it's really good for checking your website when you're working on it. Let's see. There we go. Okay, that came in just right away. So now let's go to see if Dawn's song seems to be working. Now see, it loaded right away, and then it didn't when I clicked reload. Now it did. That's why I'm getting those up and down things. So it must be loading and not loading. So I've got 200 megabits down, 10 megabits up. And now everything is, of course, there's nothing, 100 megabits is fine, but everything is, in the daisy chain is now gigabit. Now, well, that machine is 100 megabits. It doesn't have gigabit Ethernet, and it doesn't have, I'm sure it probably has a Cat5 cable on it, because I tried to not waste any of my Cat5e or Cat6 cables. So, yeah, see, it'll load. Thing is, you always got to reload when you're something you've been to a lot, and especially that's on your local network. You got to reload to make sure you're getting there or not on the internet. See, now it's not loading. Well, like I said, it may clear up. The only thing I can really think is it may completely clear up when I reboot. And this is not 100% check anyway. Like I said, these browsers will, if they detect that it's on your local network, then they'll go that way anyway. But since it's not loading, that may be the case, because now it loads and doesn't load. It may be the case because either way, I guess it wouldn't really matter. Yeah, it would, because if it's going through the local network, well, no, it wouldn't. Okay, I know I'm going crazy. If the machine is kind of, I don't know why or how it does it, but I've seen it all these years since I started building websites. I really started getting into computers in '98, and by the end of, towards the end of '98, I was learning how to build websites. That was one of the first things I learned. So I started learning then and building my own websites. And first off, they were on AOL. I was on AOL dial-up. But anyway, and always checking your work. This is where I learned all this stuff, is trying to check my work. And of course, I read a lot to learn about these behaviors. But for some reason, all these years, I've noticed that when you plug in, the routers like I just did, or switch and router, you'll get intermittent up and down, connection, until you reboot everything. Really, is what you need to do. But so what you need to do is go down. The best thing to do is go down the daisy chain from start at the modem, and like I'll probably here after I get off this stream, I'll reboot the modem, because I've been streaming on it, and this thing really needs to be. I've not realized now. It's brand new, but it needs to be rebooted every day, or else your surfing slows down, and you're watching videos, and just web surfing on Amazon and Walmart will slow down. And so reboot it, then reboot the D-Link, the one connected to the modem, that's the D-Link, and then the switch is the next thing, and then the TP-Link and the TrendNet. They're both plugged into the switch now, so wouldn't really matter about those which one goes first. It used to be modem, D-Link, TP-Link, TrendNet. It's hard to remember. But now it's modem, D-Link, switch, TP-Link, TrendNet, either or. So yeah, I think I'm all right, but yeah, for a minute there I was really worried. I got to thinking, oh no, if I can't have I won't have as many ports as I thought I had to work with, because you know most, let's see, what do we have that has gigabit right now? All I have is this machine I'm on that's got a built-in gigabit. The ASRock motherboard has a gigabit, which right now is not working right, but I'm fixing to reformat it, and hopefully Fedora 20. I think might go ahead with Fedora 29, 28 or 29. Maybe it'll have some updated drivers that'll work. It used to work fine with when I had a dual core processor in it. The Ethernet worked fine, and it showed to be gigabit connection, but. Seems like I remember having to fix it though. I think I might have had to. I did look, like download a driver or something. It didn't just come up in the Fedora repos, but I already looked once and I didn't find anything. Once I've got it, I've seen it in my previous videos that I was looking during the video. But anyway, it could be. I saw before I bought the 8300 8-core processor to put in this board. I saw that some people were having trouble with their Ethernet adapter after putting that on that board. So it could be that it just ain't going to work, because that processor was actually not made when that board was made, but it did support certain models. There was like 3 or 4 8 cores that it did support, AMD 8 cores. But I made sure the one I got was it's 95 watt, and that's the max. That is the max that board can do, but it's not going to be overclocked or anything. It's for my mom, so she's not going to working hard. It's not going to overheat or anything. There's the only problem I really saw people having, other than that, some reported the Ethernet, but others said no, mine's working fine. So I thought it might be more of a driver issue. Is the VRMs, the voltage regulator modules, don't have heat sinks on that board, and it would overheat when you put an 8300 in it. Some people were trying to put 8500s in it, and I'm sure they were not. I don't think there is any that are 95 watt. I think they're 120, 130 watts or something. So, and then there were some people were buying heat sinks and putting them on the VRMs and stuff, and it worked. Of course, and I may end up just going ahead and buying another brand new board, and because I still have that dual core processor in memory. The thing is, I don't have I'm short on power supplies. Power supplies keep on dying. all these machines I've had over the years, and one thing that dies the most is power supplies. And so I could have 2 dual core AMD systems if I had 2 power supplies that were that one, it needs to be, I wouldn't want anything less than 350 watts really minimum. It's a low power one, but the one that was on it was 245 watts, but it's almost dead. It works, but it's almost dead. The motherboard, it was an E machine. The motherboard had capacitor plague, and they popped. It had like 3 popped ones and 4 or 5 more that were swelled up. And I've looked at the power supply, and it has some swelled ones in it, so they're probably bad. But they weren't popped. But $50, 65, $75 for a decent power supply. And really, and Mom's original machine was a dual core 2.2 or 4 gigahertz, a faster one than that other one I'm talking about. And it had a 450 watt power supply, an Ultra. It was a Tiger Direct kit. And after a few years, and she uses the computer, she kind of uses it more lately, but she'd turn it on once a month, sometimes not run it for 3 months. And the switch in that box, I have I have the same box that my Fedora 14 Red Black BioStars is in. And her switch, I used it, that was my main machine for all those years. And the power switch went out in hers, and she hardly ever turned it on and off. And the power supply failed. And the Red Black Biostar, I have the same box because it came when I bought her kit. It came with the broken plexiglass was cracked, just smoothing, all the way up from one end to the other, and it was messed up in a couple other ways. And they sent me another one for free and said, just keep that one. So I used it for a build, for myself. And no problems with the switch in it. The power supply didn't go bad, but I put another one in it because someone gave me a better one. It was a Dell brand power supply, but it was bigger. And I knew that, a Dell, especially it was kind of in the days when Dells were made better before they went to crap, and then now I think they're better again, but they went to crap for a while. And it was, I forget what, I think it's a 475 watt or something like that. And the one I had was a 450 watt Ultra, just like Mom's that went out. It didn't go out. I took it out and just, until I needed it for something else, and then I ended up giving it to Jeff, the guy that gives me the computers. He had a relative that had a power computer and brought it over here for me to help him fix it, and turned out the power supply was bad, so there you go. Power supply, so I gave him that one. And so I could be using it right now, but I gave it away, but that's fine now. I've gotten a lot more computers than I've given away one power supply. I've given him a few other things, but I think I trade work for, he gives me stuff and I do work for him, it's kind of a trade deal. And once in a while, it's not something we do all the time. But so well, now that I've jabbered a long time, I'm just dying to, I don't know why I think it's going to help. Let's go ahead and go into Firefox Developer and see if anything looks any different on the website. But I know what I'll do. No, that's no point in doing that. I was going to say I'll reboot I can stop the stream but not just stop the video and reboot it, but then I'd have to upload that video for it to be seen, and I don't really want to fool with that. I'd rather just start a whole new video. Okay, there it is. That's the IP of that machine. Didn't come up. Try again. Didn't come up at all. Now it came up. Yeah, so I would say it's connecting to it. That if it doesn't come up the first time, but it comes up the next time, that wouldn't, after you've reloaded it twice, that wouldn't be the cache. Because once you keep reloading, you're going to end up getting what you're really going for and not getting cache. That's the whole point of reloading. And then if I click on my link I have there to my website, I've got it on there so that I can go to it easily when I'm working on it. It didn't load. Let's reload it again. Now it loads. And that's my music site. Yeah, okay. But it's going to bishopco.com, Living Beings folder, Dweeb98 folder, the main folder for my Dawn Songs website. And it's not, I don't have it masked. I'll probably go ahead and mask it once I get everything working right. But there's still, Dawn Songs is the one domain name that comes up. I don't know why, other than the GoDaddy URL shortener thing. I think it's something that's causing errors. I think it's taking over when it shouldn't. When I don't have any shortener, so it takes over every once in a while for some crazy reason. And then there's no shortener set up, so it gives an error. It says no page here. That's what I've decided. That's what I was trying to say a while ago. So yeah, it seems like I'm up. I am going to reboot everything anyway. I didn't realize I feel kind of tired and out. I'm confused. So I've got, I need to go ahead and try to install Fedora 29, get on the NetPro Max, and I don't know, there was something else that I was going to do that I wanted to make a video on. Oh, I need to fix the kitchen sprayer. It's that hose on it's getting ready to break. I've got two old ones that are not broken, and I figured I'd just put one of them on there. But that's hard. If I have to get under the sink to do it, that's really hard work. But if I can just take the handle off and redo it, I'm not sure if that's going to be possible because it's crimped. It's got a crimped on hose clamp. I saw them. I looked at them. Anyway, that's not anything to do with this network switch, is it? All right, so I'm going to go then because I'm just really been rambling. It's working. I keep thinking, did I check? I want to demonstrate. I want to demonstrate everything that you would want to check before I take off, and I can't think. I've looked all over that router. and it's not showing. Like I said, you can't make it refresh that D-Link. I don't like that about it. Yeah, all those things probably. It may not be. I think it's still in warranty, but like I said, I like to wait till the warranty's out before because what if you brick it while it's still in warranty? That just seems like a bum move, But I've read about that stuff, studied on it for years and years, and I never did one because I'm really not too good at following really tricky, specific instructions. I'm good at figuring out things as I go. Well, that's not one of those things you can figure out. You really need to study on it, get the overall understanding, and then follow those specific instructions. And well, number one, I was really scared of brick my router, but that would be number two. Number one was that the Linksys was in my daisy chain, and it was the only router I had that would work with forwarding to the IBM machine when it was my server in here in my room. The TrendNet wouldn't do it. I didn't have the D-Link for all those years, and once I got the D-Link, it worked perfectly. So then I went ahead and pulled I had enough, then I had enough ports, and so then I pulled the Linksys out and then I redid it. And now I'm going to go ahead and I got to do the TP-Link, or else I'm going to have my server in here. And I've realized now that I could turn that Acer laptop in server. I think it runs good enough to do that. I could turn it into a server, and it's quiet. I was running it the other day for a while, but it's got a bad hard drive. But I went ahead. Well, I showed them, but I didn't. I was going to make a video about I was going to get the new hard drive out and plug it in a video, but I'm not going to do it right now. I'll do it in its own video. But I didn't show those 10-foot cables, but I'm using them. Of course, you know what cables look like. But I think I'm going to actually take that 5 terabyte hard drive out of its case, because I'm pretty sure there are laptop hard drives in there if I remember right. I ought to go look up the stuff I read again, I guess. The stuff where I saw. I remember people taking them out and putting them in machines. I just don't remember for sure that they're the small ones that fit in laptops. But they're SATA drives, and I remember that much. And take it out. Well, first I will back it up. I'll back it up to the 8 terabyte. First, I'm going to reformat it from NTFS, because that's just it broke 3 or 4 times already on this one, and I had to fix it with check disk and everything. And it's really scary when all your data's gone and you can't access the drive and you don't know if you're going to get it back. And ext4 Linux file system does not do that hardly ever. It's happened twice, I think, in ever since 05 when I got into Linux to me, and one of them's recent on the IBM server. But actually, it didn't lose it all. It lost just the root partition, and that was because the power kept going out while it was running. And of course, that can happen anytime, but it kept going off, and I know this is what happened to it. And it was the middle of the night, and I was asleep, and I kept hearing all my stuff in my room starting back up. So that's the only reason I knew it was happening. But anyway, my 2.5, 3 terabyte of backups that I have, formatted 8 terabyte to ext4, but leave it in its container, especially while that won't void the warranty. You can do that. And copy all the files over there, and then take and this is what I may do, I'm not sure yet, take the 5 terabyte out, put it in, I can either put it in the, well, what I was thinking, I was thinking, there's 2 or 3 ways I could go, but put it in a Lenovo i5 as its main hard drive, and then reformat it with Linux and everything. And then I would actually have real backups. Then while I can leave my videos on it for a very long time, and until I fill it up. And also have a backup copy. Right now, I really only have one copy of all my videos and stuff because I don't have room to put it all but anywhere else. So my backup drive is, in a lot of cases, it's not just, you know, a lot of it's backup, but a lot of it's the only copy. And I've never used to do that. I always had the original copy and the backup. But you know, the more I make videos, the more expensive it is to do that, and I couldn't buy more drives, you know. But I got to where I could buy this one, and then now I could put that 8 terabyte in that Acer laptop and turn it into a backup server, but not a web server, because I don't want my web server backup server to be the same machine, because when you've got your machine exposed to the internet all the time, somebody might break into past the website and get in there and see all your files and destroy them. So I don't want to do that. So I was tempted to do it. It's much more convenient, and you don't have to have 2 separate machines, but really it's just too dangerous. But I don't really want to. It's one thing to, you know, reformat the drive. Like it tells you when you buy a drive, it says, you know, in order to use it with Mac, you need to format it with the Mac file system. I don't know if that plane's is loud to you. It's pretty loud to me. Got my window open to stop it being so hot in here. It's still 78.8, but I got fresh air now. I had it open since I started, but when the heater comes on, it just smothers me, you know, but it hadn't been coming on now. I guess it got warm enough in the living room. So I may leave it. I'll probably, right now, I'm going to format it ext4, leave it. There is a thought of BTRFS because it's really good. It's supposed to be really good at managing like bad sectors and stuff automatically or something. I'll look into that, but probably ext4, and leave it in its case. And the reason I want to get it out, I really would, and might wait till the warranty's up, maybe is what I may do, but we'll see. It is really convenient having a USB drive. You can plug it into whatever machine you want to, you know. But the problem with that is the cable. They have a terrible design. I made a video on that. I just saw it today when I was kind of messing around with my videos. You know, the one that goes in your computer is fine. It's normal USB. I always forget the letters that go with them. But the one that goes into the drive is a proprietary thing they made. It doesn't fit anything else, it's actually not such, well, first, the reason it's bad is because the plug itself, the metal part, is only around a 1/4 inch, maybe even shorter long. And so you just sneeze at the thing and it comes out. Not only that, but it'll work up and down really easy. So if you take that cable and unplug it from one machine and then go to plug it in another, and it gets a little tug, it's working on bending that, and that the female is what will happen. You know, here, you know, the male's going in here, so the female is getting wider, and then it starts wanting to fall out more and more. Well, you just sneeze at it now and it'll fall out. And I've been really careful with it because it fell out on me not long after I bought it, and scared me to death. You know, thought it was dead. And but now, twice in the last week or two, probably twice in the last 7, 8 days, 10 days. Just a couple of days ago, I booted up the machine. And I thought my backups had ran. Lucky backup will just not come on and not run if there's nothing to be written. You know, the drive's not present, but it won't pop up any errors or anything. So I went to go look at my files, and they hadn't been backed up. And so I was like, oh no. And I was like, well, of course I'm used to this. So I'm like, well, probably the cable's loose or something. So I checked the cables. Well, they weren't loose. They hadn't budged. And it was showing, it's got a blue light on top that shows that it's running, and it was running. Now, if the cable's unplugged from either end, then the blue light's out because it turns itself off when the cable's USB plug is unplugged, even though it has power, you know. And so then I unplugged it and plugged it back in from the machine, and it got an error message saying can't mount the drive, so-and-so, technical stuff that I didn't really know what it meant. So then, okay, I better try rebooting the machine. Well, that worked. But so I'm afraid that
it could be that the NTFS file system it's getting old. It hasn't, and the older it gets, the more fragmented it'll get. I haven't defragmented it. It could be that, but NTFS is not a very stable file system. That's the one that, ever since Windows XP, that's the Windows file system, and it will degrade over time, over years, and it's 2 or 3 years old now. And then one day it might just break completely. And if you don't have that data backed up, it's gone. You most likely won't get it back. Well, you might get it back with test disk or something like that. There's a Windows app that I actually bought years ago that would bring stuff back. And then I can't think of the name of it. I still get emails from them once in a while. But I haven't used it since 2005. As soon as I started learning Linux. Test disk is great, and it's open source, and I don't know if it has more features than that app now. Back then, I think it did. But anyway, I've saved a lot of lost partitions and stuff and drives, but had some I couldn't recover too. But so. Sorry. Well, I guess that's a sign I better go. Just off on another subject anyway. So I'm going to go, and I'll have to take a break before I can talk anymore anyway. But, all right. Bye-bye.